Hello, good people of the internet. Today we're playing Samawa Idle, which is a tower-based idle clicker game with roguelike elements. It does have sound, but I figured it would be more annoying with sound, so I've disabled it for now. What is it? Well, as I said, tower-based idle clicker game. So you can just sit here and do nothing because it is that kind of idle game. If you click, you don't even have to click on the actual enemies. It will do damage to them. It's your standard idle affair in the sense that you have things that you need to upgrade, and upgrading them costs a bunch of cash, and in some way you get cash for doing things. Here you have a series of levels or stages, I don't know, and it's telling us that we have killed 6 out of 10 of these creatures, and once we've killed them all, then we'll end up on the next stage, which makes it seem like we could just keep going forever, but every 5 levels there is a boss stage, so when we get to that, then you'll see that we will probably need to do something. You start the game with 1 tower, and the reason why I'm not starting at the very beginning is because we'll get into the roguelike elements and come back to that in a second. But you start with 1 tower and you end up with 3, and 3 max, so personally I would like the ability to place towers. In this game it just gives you 3 and puts them in the middle, and they fire at the enemies. And you can get level ups and new skills for these over time, but the main gold sink is those towers and leveling them up. So they each have levels. At level 10, they unlock this ability which kind of gives them a lot more damage, and you can re-roll that for, well, different stats, because you can be unlocking just get something which is normal. So this one here I need to re-roll because it's only getting more damage, and again I re-rolled it, didn't get any more damage, and now it's epic. I'm probably happy with that because it has more damage, more chance to do double damage, and also quicker attack speed. And that's just on this one tier 5 level 39 archer tower here. The so I could upgrade that for 11.5A, and this is A because it started off as a small number, but because the numbers get so large in this game so very quickly, really it's, you know, just going up in different number currency things. Yeah, so this is level 10. This one opens up. Level 25 is when this slot opens up. You have to reach level 50 then, and then you can go to the next tower tier. So these are all tier 5. This one is ready to go up to tier 6. And you can see the damage that the tower does here, 6.48 Peter damage, which is, you know, something like, there is in fact a way to put it into scientific notation. So you can see, you know, we're talking about 10 to the 15, but obviously these ones are doing 10 to the 16, 10 to the 18 damage. And this is probably better. Well, I think at the beginning I preferred it with the numbers, which were like, you know, standard, like K for 1,000, M for million. I think B for billion was added recently. When you get up to these numbers and they're kind of like, I don't want to say made up, but to some degree, let's say, at some point they will be, then yes, maybe scientific notation is the easiest way to see it. And you can see the differences, like this is going to cost a lot more money than this. I don't know, it's up to your preference. But for now, you can see, you know, just in terms of P, or if you know that A comes after P, that these are much worse, but let's level that up, and you get to choose then which tower. There's only a few towers in the game at the moment, I think 5 towers. So we had something different here, but let's go with the lightning tower. And then, so this is level 1, you can see it doesn't have any upgrades. We can upgrade this. In fact, we have 140A in terms of money. And we can level that to level 10. It then tells you, in fact, we can't actually get to level 10 just yet. So whilst that's happening, there are these kind of drops that appear on the battlefield. What do they call them? I don't know, but they give you cash. There can be things which attack the enemies. You may still have seen me use one earlier. It does tell you what they're called. They're called bounties. This is like your kind of mini achievements thing, and you can hide your completed one, which is a new feature I don't think was there the other day. But when you do these, then it gives you this reward. So each time you you know, if you gain 1 skill point, then forevermore you have the chance to find more ghosts, which we'll get to later. When you reach shop level 5, you get extra experience. And, you know, when you reach tower tier 2, then you get extra attack speed, so you can see what's coming up. When we get to level 100 on the map, so we're at 89 now, then we'll get extra damage to do to towers or whatever else. And that doesn't just happen when we're greater than 100. It happens maybe when we reset the game with the roguelike elements. Yeah, so we have enough now to get to level 10, except that upgrade itself costs quite a lot. Whilst we're doing that, we may decide, well, these... In fact, this one is doing a lot more damage than this, but this is going up quicker. Here is a boss fight. Now, you can see that they're not actually dying very quickly. Even if I do that, it's... You know, I haven't been clicking this whole time, and probably we're not going to win this, even if I did start clicking. Because your click tells you how much damage it's going to do. It's about 10% of the tower damage. So anyway, what happens when you lose to the boss? It just chucks you back a level. And you can sit in the farm area for a long time. You know, if you want to, you can click and kill things quicker, but we're not doing that much damage. So yeah, you could do these things and you could spend your money, you know, get this tower up to level 50, and then you can tier this up, except that's more expensive to tier up than this one is to get random upgrades. And you kind of get to the point where you're like, well, you know, I could level this up to 50 and tier it up, but again, it's going to cost me a lot. So instead, well, before we get to that, let's talk about this, what they call the shop. You have a level which you get for killing enemies throughout the game. And in a particular run, you can get a certain number of rerolls, but for every level you get a shield, and the shield you can use to buy one of these abilities. So you get like a choice, and that's why you might want rerolls. So if you don't want any of these, you can reroll. And you may say, aha, I really want the ability to multi-shoot. In fact, we already have one multi-shoot, but that's 20%, and if I get another one, then it's 40%. So yes, now I have 40% chance. And in fact, I have 2 more, so I can get 2 more things. I can add bounce, and bounce is maybe a good one to demonstrate because I have 5 bounce, which means that I have 3 bounces because it gives you 60% per level. So 60% times 5 is just adds up to 300%, which is 3. And attack speed, I now have 3 times 6, which is 18. Excellent. So this is all great for this run, makes me more powerful and whatever. Here's another bounty that does damage. It did some. But still, I probably, you know, if I click this button, I can go on to the boss battle. And even if I'm holding my click button down, it's going to do damage. But is it going to kill all of them? No, in the 20 seconds that we have, we're probably not even going to kill one of them. So yes, are we, you know, are we just going to sit here for hours on end? Well, the game says no, and it gives you this rebirth system. So in some of the boss fights, you will encounter some ghosts, and the ghosts give you this different currency. I'm not quite sure what that symbol is, some kind of gemstone maybe? Yes, if we were, based on the number of ghosts that we've killed this run, if we were to rebirth, we would get 14 of this currency, and then we can convert those currencies into these book currencies or something, I don't know. And then there is a skill tree based on the gem currency and the book currency. As you can see, I've put some into these poison towers because, I don't know, they were doing some good jobs for me, so I did that. Anyway, let's click the button. And we've rebirthed. So we're back at level 1. We have no towers. And probably the most sensible thing to do is to, well, at the beginning of the game, because you have no towers, you have to start just by clicking things. So you can just hold down click. I'm not actually clicking myself, but it kills the nearest enemy. If you want to go really quick, then you can click things. The first couple of levels are just there for getting extra damage on your clicking. Probably want to kill something first to get the extra damage. So it isn't, you know, at the very beginning, I suppose it's less of an idle game. more of an actual clicker game. Oh yeah, one thing we maybe didn't talk about is that there are these chests that sometimes appear. They should give you more cash. So you get 38, whereas these little guys only give 8. Have that bounty thing, even though I don't think it does anything over there. More click damage, and yeah, we need 100 gold to unlock the first tower. So in a way, this video is maybe slightly backwards, and then we get the first tower. No choice, but through the tree that I had chosen it gave us a poison tower because, yes, as discussed, the first node is that the poison tower always appears as a choice. And that's the same for the lightning tower if you choose this tree, and fire, archer, energy. I don't know what happens when you have chosen all 5 of those, because there's only an option of 2 anyway, but you know, I'm sure something sensible happens, or maybe not. So at this point, it's into idle territory. You can speed up a lot by doing this. It doesn't show you the damage you're doing. It shows you click damage. So yeah, it's probably actually quicker to do this, getting all the cash, if you really want to do all the clicking, or you can just leave it, but we're kind of trying to show you it relatively quickly. Yeah, and you can level up the tower, and, you know, again, where we were before, it kind of tells you need to get to level 10 to upgrade the tower to do all the things. In fact, we didn't spend those those points, so we have, if we want to get one of these next abilities, so we can get bigger toxin area. So you may have seen we have like this purple area. I think that's the toxin appearing. Then, you know, we enabled it at some point, I think, or it always does it or something, I don't know. Then, you know, that is a way you can make it bigger. Or you can get more experience from things that are killed by toxin, or what have you. 4% chance to cool toxin or critical hit. Excellent. I don't know. Probably one of these each. You have to convert for increasingly more gems to get these books, which is slightly annoying, but it's one of those games which obviously is forcing you down the get more things route. That we should probably level up our tower, get the upgrade, and get a better upgrade. Sure, we would like to unlock bigger toxin area and also monsters killed by toxins, so maybe we can level up quicker. But it's leveling up the shop because that's where experience is used. Also then, once you've unlocked a particular node, you can level that up. So yeah, there's a 4% chance to call toxin every second, but for 3 of these gem things, I can level that up to level 2, and now it's an 8% chance. Or a 10% chance. Okay, this is 20 gems to level up. This is already on the max level. Here's the toxin I was talking about, so we're going to have a more higher chance to get that anyway. Yes, and this is most of the premise of the game. In terms of, there is a couple of extra systems which I haven't really mentioned. There is a rarity system. So sometimes you can see that the enemies spawn with some, or even the bounties spawn with some kind of border around them. That causes them to be stronger and drop more money, as you might expect. But we're going to unlock the next tower here. So we have 2 towers. I'm waiting for one of those enemies to appear. And yes. What else? The game does kind of want on your first playthrough talk you through it. So yeah, there are towers they cap. Again, there is only 3. I would like to maybe place them down or have more than 3, but I suppose from the UI perspective, it's nicely laid out. And from, yeah, generally from a graphics perspective, the game is nicely presented. The sounds are, you know, good quality. Or maybe it's a bit, let me just turn up the sound on the game. You know, going to turn that off again. You know, they are relatively good quality sounds. I don't know if they are my favorite kind of sounds, so, or if I'd like them playing all the time. Because, yeah, it would, given that it's constant, be kind of annoying after a while. At least that's my opinion. but I'm just easily annoyed by things sometimes. So yes, there's the towers. In fact, we already lost to that boss early on, and we can just help the game out by clicking or just holding the mouse button down while we talk. So yeah, there are many towers to choose from once you tier up to level 50. So yeah, on the first one, you don't get the choice for some reason. But on the next ones you do. Then we get to this one to level 10, and then we can start getting the more damage on the rarity, and then we'd have to level it up. You can see that we need to get 4 billion gold, and we're on like thousands of gold. So it's quite a jump to the third tower. What's next? The rarity system, as I mentioned, we haven't got anything with any rarity out there at the moment. I'll try and see if there is anything. I mean, there is in the upgrades for the towers here, but not beyond that. What else we got? Oh, rarity, bounties. Yeah, it just doesn't look like it's selected, but it's fine. So clickable things on the battlefield we saw before offer different advantages, such as granting gold, dealing damage to enemies. Their effects are improved by rarities, which, as we've mentioned, so you've seen it with blue, definitely. Treasure chests are the enemies. They can also have rarity, and so getting a, as it says, a legendary one is the luckiest thing that can happen. Maybe it gives you so much gold, who knows. Then there's the shop, which we mentioned with, well, that also resets, so I haven't got any benefits here just yet. And then the rebirth system, which means that we complete start at 0, but we, you start with some upgrades. Which I've spent some of the gems doing some upgrades with, well, converting them into the books to buy new upgrades, and then you use the gems to buy the upgrades on those. And that's the game as far as I've seen it. I've only got up to, like, as you've seen, level 90, whatever it was, just below 100. There's probably quite a lot to do. It's not an expensive game. If you're an idle clicker kind of fan with the roguelike system, this is maybe a game for you. If it's not your bag, then, I don't know, it's probably not for you. Anyway, this is all I have to say at the moment, at least anyway. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you think that you would like to see more like this on the channel, but there is more, probably some, maybe not too much idle clicker stuff, but maybe subscribe. It would be much appreciated. But again, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day wherever it is you are.